said, you motherfuckers is crazy. I said, I got to talk. I got to tell what I feel. I got to talk about my life as I see it.
And now for our feature presentation.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Life As I See It, the podcast. I'm your host, Jers, aka Life As I See It, episode 127. We got Gert in the building. Rico Key and Bad Lungs might pull up on us a little bit later, but before we get to our guest, I do want to just make mention to anybody out there, if it's your first time listening or if you've been listening and ain't been doing what I've been saying, make sure that y'all hit that subscribe button on Apple and on Spotify. Make sure that everybody's shopping for your candles and your smell goods at luxcollectionllc.com. Make sure you subscribe to our visual content on Patreon at patreon.com/Life As I See It podcast. And yeah, make sure that y'all check out our YouTube page and hit that like button, the subscribe button as well. So today we have a very special guest. In honor of Women's Month, of course, we want to, highlight women. And this person that we have the pleasure of joining us today, I've known for a long time, from the same city, hailing from Paterson, New Jersey. I'm gonna just kind of run off a few accolades just in case, y'all out there may not be familiar, but of course, an all-state high school athlete in the sport of basketball, went to Rutgers University, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, actually inducted into the Rutgers Hall of Fame class of 2020. She's a WNBA champion. She's an international champion. She's a musician. She's a legend, man. Without further ado, we have, and welcome to the show, Miss Essence Carson.
Oh man, what up? Thanks for having me tonight, man. Thanks for having me. It feels good to reconnect. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
But you already know it always feels good to connect with my people from home. At the end of the day, that's where I started. That's the place that built me and made me who I am today. Gave me the character and everything. So it always feels good to reconnect.
No doubt. So just I want to kind of start just a little bit from the beginning. So I mentioned a lot of accolades via the sport of basketball, and I've always known you as a hooper. I knew you was nice from a long time ago. I knew to stay in my lane a long time ago.
She was busting your ass. She was busting your ass since like the 3rd grade, cooking you.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just been super dope. Of course, I've always, been a supporter and cheering from close and afar. But it's been dope to, just watch you as you've grown over the years as a person, and in particular right now, just focusing on the sport of basketball. I want to go back to when you first were in the process of choosing colleges, right? And I know that, you had some of those powerhouse schools back in the day, UConn being one of them. I know Texas was good around that time too. So what kind of made you choose Rutgers? Was it just being from New Jersey? I know how, they always, guidance counselors and things of that nature, want you to stay in state. Was it that? Was it the pressure of that? Or what made you actually choose Rutgers?
And honestly, it really didn't have anything to do with it being close to home, because I'm the type of person that I always feel that no matter where I travel in the world, Paterson is always going to be with me, right? That's just how I see it. And the reason why, before I even get into why I chose Rutgers, the reason why I see it that way is because a lot of people from the city don't really have a lot of opportunity, right? So we stay confined within those square miles, right? So if you have the chance to go outside and go outside those square miles, right? Go outside those city limits, and you get to broaden your horizon, you get to experience different things, then you can go back and tell other people, right? Because if we all sitting in the same barrel, right? That's the only thing we understand. But if one of let's say one of the, they always say we have crab in the barrel syndrome. One of the crabs get out and is able to explore and see the world. The knowledge that they could bring back, and they can inspire the next person to want to do the same thing. So staying home wasn't always something that was on my mind. It's just something that happened. And the thing that really did keep me home and really influenced my decision to go to Rutgers was more so because of Coach Stringer and the family environment, right? It was really family oriented there. She's a Black coach. I'm from Paterson, New Jersey, and the inner city, where when you look around, the majority of everyone that I'm around is a person of color, is Black, right? If you're not Black, then you're Hispanic. Right. So there was a level of comfort there, but just to understand that there were people around me that came from like situations, but they were able to push through and make it, quote unquote, out as well. That showed me that, one, they had the grit and the determination too. So that means, like, if I needed to go to war, need to go to battle on the court, that means I could rely on them, right? When sometimes you deal with certain people, you don't really know how they're gonna show up when adversity hit. You don't really know how they're gonna show up when everything's on the line. But I knew that when I looked around me, that the young ladies that they did have there at that time, I knew that that was the group that I wanted to fight with. And at that time they weren't a huge powerhouse. They did go to the Final Four like a few years back, but at that time they were like kind of like rebuilding, and kind of like trying to rebuild the program up. And I believed in what their vision was. I really did. And the way Coach Stringer was, the way she spoke to my family, with respect, the way she talked to me, and the way she treated me as a person and not even a basketball player. See, the difference was everyone else spoke to me like I was a basketball player. I know I'm good at it. Everyone else knows I'm good at it, but I'm a person first. So she treated me as a person first. She treated me like I was like someone in her family, and she had only known me for 2.5 seconds. And I appreciated that. That means that I could trust her with my 4 years, right? You going in to play basketball, but at the same time, you don't know if you're going to become a professional basketball player, professional athlete when you go to school. You hope to, right? You're going to train, you're going to work your hardest to give yourself the best shot, but that doesn't mean it will happen. So if that doesn't happen, what is your plan B? She really, really, really instilled in all of her athletes that, life is, bigger than the game of basketball. So if this doesn't work out for you, you're still going to be set up for success after that. And I appreciated that. That didn't mean I didn't believe in my basketball capabilities. That didn't mean that. It just meant that I saw someone that saw something else in me. And even before then, when you're talking about whether I was going to Rosa Parks, took a chance to go there instead of going to one of the Catholic schools in another city, like that were already known for winning, state championships. I looked at it the same way. I wanted to bet on myself, and I wanted to bet on my people. And every decision that I make is like that. I end up doing that because sometimes it takes a lot for people to see, I guess, into the future, right? To kind of see past the current circumstances and to see what things will be like, or envision what things will be like 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of courage to do that. But like I said, going to Rosa Parks, playing at Eastside High, my grandparents, my mom, everyone, I had a good support system. Everyone that was around me was always very encouraging and supportive. So I knew that I was always going to make the right decision because the people around me wouldn't let me fail. It wasn't like they was putting pressure on me.
It just felt comfortable.
They believed in me. And when you guys know, when y'all confident in whatever it is you doing, when you confident, it's like you the best at it. I don't care what it is. It could be at playing 2K. If you confident and your homie come over and he always talking all this mess, like you don't care. Like I'm about to bust you up. Like you confident. You know what I'm saying? Like and my support staff always did that. My support circle always did that. You saw witness to that. Whether it was basketball, whether it was track meets, and it didn't matter if it was my first time running. People was like, "Yeah, you could do it." I'm like, "Yeah, I can.
All right,
I can." Right? Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah, I could do it. And that's how, like I said, just going back to why, like, I was never afraid to necessarily leave home is because everyone around me always made me feel that no matter where I landed in this world,
You're gonna be
I
good.
was always gonna be able to stand up on my own tent, no matter
Word.
where I landed. It didn't matter whether it was in Jersey, whether it's here in California, or whether it was somewhere in the middle of Europe. I was gonna be able to stand because that was just how I was raised. That was what was instilled in me.
Word.
Did they did you get any of the He Got Game college tours?
No, look. They try to take me out. Look, they try to take me out the parties for sure. They definitely did, right? But that wasn't me. That wasn't me. Like, you know, coming out of high school, like, yeah, like I love sports. I like to be a jokester. You know, I like to have fun like that. But like partying really wasn't my thing. Like, play some music. We can go play some instruments, and we can go get on a track. We can just do stuff like that. Like, oh, I'm good. But like going to all the parties at that age, I really wasn't. I wasn't with it at that age.
Word.
I would be
locked
honest.
in.
Yeah, I definitely was locked in. It was because just because I played 3 sports, and then you know going to the performing arts school, you know that demands your time. Whether you playing in the jazz band, whether it's concert band, whether it's piano recital, my time was always allocated. Yeah, it's accounted for, right? So it's just like, all right, well, if I'm gonna do all these things, how could I didn't have time to even think about going to a teen party. Right? It didn't even cross my mind. My friends went and they was mentioning it, but I never showed interest because I'd be so tired from going to 7 o'clock piano class and then having practice at night. Like I'll be dead tired. I didn't have any energy to be doing anything else. But I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, they offered. They you want to go out? You want to go out? No, yeah, nah. I'm talking about big universities with like when you go to a university with like a big, huge, successful football team. Oh, it's over. They party. They know how to party for sure.
Yeah.
But real quick, what was the 3 sports you played? Just so
I played basketball, I ran track, and I played volleyball.
Got you.
Yep, and I mean, it was a blessing to be able to compete at the highest level, and in all 3 of those. But you know, my favorite, of course, is basketball.
Right.
Basketball is my favorite. I had fun running track. Now that was we had some good times. Jersey tell you he was nice too. He wasn't no slouch. Get him in that pit, man. He was nice in that pit, man. I don't know how he did it. I was more of a person that was just running. You know, he could take the field events. Like he had that unlocked. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Word. So really quick, right? Just speaking about Rutgers, you know, first of all, did y'all win the national championship?
Nah, we lost that game.
Sorry.
The second half, we lost that in the second half to Tennessee. no, it's all good. You say it gotta be. You know what I'm saying? It's a winner and loser in all things. You feel me? All right. If you ain't first, you last. All right. So I get it. I get it. But we did end up winning a Big East championship. We went to the national championship game. Man, which it had been, that was the second time, actually the third time Rutgers had went, but second time on the Coach Stringer. But just looking at the team we had, people didn't expect us to. We didn't have any upperclassmen. We didn't have any seniors. It was a really young team, but just a bunch of young women that believed in themselves and didn't care what the narrative was that everyone else tried to, you know, place on us. You know, we wrote our own story. And man, that year felt good though. I mean, despite that loss.
I remember, I'll be honest. I mean, it's mainly because of you why I was watching, but I became a fan in that time. I became a fan actually of women's basketball because I'll be honest, like I don't watch like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch. I was watching you, but the competition was up to par too. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a lot of young women that was really doing their thing. And, you know, I just remember that time being a special time for Rutgers, for Jersey and people who, you know, really supported that entire movement. But there was also something else that was looked at as a distraction around that time. And just to kind of give a timeline for people out there, the gentleman's name is Don Imus. He's like a Rush Limbaugh type of, you know, shock jock, you know, sort of guy. And he made some disparaging comments about you ladies. I'll just repeat it for those who didn't know. He, in the midst of his little monologue or whatever you want to call it, he called all of the ladies on Rutgers basketball team nappy-headed hoes. And this was a big headline. This was big. This is on CNN. This was like big news. That was a really big deal. And you were a part of that team. So if you don't mind, speak to, kind of that time and what was going on in the locker room, how you felt, how did the team feel? What was the energy around that time?
Man, the energy, right? It's kind of hard to call it, right? Because you're coming down off of a high after coming from like the national championship game, right? Where you look in the arena, you got about 20,000 people, right? Screaming, whether they screaming for you or against you, doesn't really matter. They're there to see you, right? They're there to see you. Then you have, the millions at home watching, encouraging you. You got everybody from wherever your hometown is calling you, telling you how proud of you they are. It doesn't matter if you win or lose; they're just proud of you because you're doing something that they didn't do, or you're setting a you're setting a standard. Yeah. You're setting a standard for those to come after you. So all that feels good, right? All that feels great. You come home on a charter flight, on the runway, saying they greeting you with the fire trucks, and they doing they with the water hoses, and the plane is gliding underneath the water hoses. It's hard. Like a big pep. Yeah, it's like a big pep rally.
Yeah, that's all
right. So you feeling good, right? And then all of a sudden you pull up to the school, and then I guess whatever went down, on the radio or MSNBC at that time. And so then it gets back to, the coaches and the players. And it immediately brings you down off of that high, because it's just like, at first you think it's a joke, but then they're like, no, it's serious. And, I know that one line is at this point pretty famous, but he, like you said, he had a whole excerpt where he was just going off.
Yeah.
And it was almost like pitting Black people against each other, right? So, whether you already know what exists within the Black community when you talk about colorism, and that's what he was doing at that time, right? Talking about the jigaboos and the wannabes and everything. And it's just like, how did we become the butt of this quote unquote joke or this conversation? What does this have to do with basketball at all? And it's just like, well, why us? Why us in this moment? It's because we're the darker skinned team, So then now you start thinking about, oh, it's because we're Black, we're dark skinned, and we're from the inner city. So then that doesn't make you feel good. You grow up hearing these things already.
And you gotta shield it off, and and
you think that when you're finally, I guess moving in the right direction, right? Getting education and doing what you're supposed to do on the basketball court, and you're winning games, that all that stuff disappears. No, at the end of the day, you're still a Black woman. And that was a reminder. And it doesn't matter how old you are. It didn't matter that we weren't even 21. We weren't even adults yet.
Kids, still teenagers.
Yeah. So we were allowed to be punching bags. So it was very sobering at that time. It was very sobering. But then, it quickly moved itself from celebrating our success of the season to quickly going into defense mode, right? Where you got to do the press runs, you got to do all the interviews, everyone's hounding you, people getting your phone number. You don't even know how they get your phone number. They pulling up to your grandparents' house, how you get our address. Y'all don't even come to Paterson. What are you doing here? And like, you can't even go to class without them chasing you down. Cameras, they chasing you around the arena trying to get an interview. It was crazy. It was like pandemonium. And I don't think that anyone that age should have to go through that, let alone anyone at any age should have their privacy invaded like that. But that's what happened. And luckily enough, we had Coach Stringer and the coaching staff at that time that really cared about us as humans and not just basketball players. So, just getting the team together, and everyone was on the same page, pretty much. Everyone was on the same page. And we knew that whatever stance we were going to take, we're going to have to take it together. We got through that situation together as a team. Like, I was a spokeswoman, and I had to do a lot of the interviews. But we still had the support of each and every player on that team and each and every person on that staff. So, I mean, they tried to make it as easy as it could be. Of course, it's not when you're dealing with race, when you're being reminded of how you're less than a person, you know, and that part is never easy. But they try to make it as easy as possible by showing their support, and pretty much, you know, I mean, you can't really hold your hand through it, right? You just
Yeah,
it's
you
kind of
gotta go
trial by
through it.
fire,
Yeah,
but you just
yeah.
go together, shoulder to shoulder, and lock arms, and that's pretty much how we went through it.
That's dope. Gert, I'm gonna let you jump in for a second, but it's dope to hear you speak about the team camaraderie and in particular Coach Stringer. You know, Coach Stringer, needless to say, I'm sure, you know, made a huge impact on your life from a young teen, I'm sure, even up until now. And it's just you've already done it, but if you could kind of package up, you know, Coach Stringer, for people who may not have been familiar with her, who she was as a woman, or is as a woman, a coach, you know, just who is Vivian Stringer?
Man, Coach Stringer, I mean, she's more than a coach, right? She definitely is more than a coach. She's more than a mentor. I mean, I know she's a mom. I know she's a sister. I know she's auntie. I know she's all of that. But like, sum it up, she's like everything, right? She genuinely cares about the people she comes in contact with, right? She is a very authentic and genuine woman, and someone that has had the success that she's had over time, right? You thinking back to when there wasn't Title IX for basketball, when women didn't really have anything, when you're talking about competing in sports and having the same things as our male counterparts, right? Same access to facilities, anything like that. She was around before then, but she was still fighting the fight, right? She had a vision, you know.
Yeah,
She's a visionary.
yeah.
She definitely is, and everything that she's achieved in life, to me, she definitely deserves that and more. Um, Man, like the way she was able to get me to like to commit to Rutgers with like no other coach was gonna do that.
Mm.
She
She
said,
went
I'm
the
gonna
extra
learn how to
mile.
play. Yeah, she went the extra mile. She's like, nah, I'm gonna play this Moonlight Sonata, Movement One. If I do it, you gotta come here. And
That's
I'm like, there's no way.
fire.
There's no way
Nah,
this
she
Hall
did
of
that?
Fame coach. Yeah. She was like, I'm in my mind, I'm like, there's no way this Hall of Fame coach who gotta be on the road recruiting top athletes around the country.
That's
There's
crazy.
no time, right?
Yeah,
You know what it takes to
yeah,
practice and to
yeah,
learn
yeah,
pieces, right?
yeah.
Like, and she's older, you know, so it's gonna take a little more time. Nah, she stood by her word, and she did.
That's
She
fire.
played the first movement of Moonlight Sonata, and I in turn committed to
There it
Rutgers. I
is.
mean, I
Yeah.
already knew I already kind of had a feeling in my heart that I was gonna go there, but that sealed the deal.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, it's just like she made that commitment, and that means I could trust you. I could
Exactly.
trust your word. People could talk all day, right? Y'all probably know some people that talk all day. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. They never do it. 3 months later, still ain't do it. 2 years later, still ain't do it.
Yeah.
You know, but she was a woman of her word, you know what I mean? And I truly appreciated that, you know, because those are the morals that, you know, that I've always stood on.
Mhm,
That's how my family moves. You give
mhm.
somebody your word. That's, you know what I'm saying?
That's
That's
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
That's everything. What
Mhm.
up, Bad Lungs? I see you over there. I
Yo,
see
yo,
you.
what up? What up? What up,
Yeah,
Essence?
he always come through with the bass in the voice. Yo, yo, yo,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah.
yo.
Turn them off. Turn them off.
Gert, you want jump in there?
I would ask, what one lesson would you say, like if you could point to the most valuable lesson you got from Coach, what would you say it is?
Man, the most valuable lesson I got from
That
Coach. She
that you
dropped so many gems.
right, the one that stands out that you tell people to this day, the one that maybe changed your life the most.
She had a couple of those. She was like, I mean, she always referenced like the game of life to the game of basketball. So she always talked about how the game of life is way bigger than the game of basketball. Um, so that always helped me keep my mind open, have an open, my perspective. The way I looked at life, it didn't only solely revolve around basketball. It revolved around the things I did in life and who I was as a person, my character. Right, basketball is going to be what it is as long as I continue to put in the work. Right, but what happens in the game of life? Right, like are you so committed to this side
One
that you
thing,
forget
yeah.
who you are as a person, how you move about this earth, how you affect the next person. You know what I'm saying? Like you can never forget that. So is that, and then another question she would ask is like, yo, do you want to be a lion or do you want to be a sheep? It was that simple. It was that simple. You can't be scared. You can't be afraid. If you want something, you got to go after it. So you're either gonna be a lion, right? Who's the predator, and you going after it. Nothing scares you. Or you're gonna be a sheep, right? You're gonna follow. You the prey. What's happening? Who you choose to be. You know what I mean? So those two things definitely um have really shaped my mind and how what my outlook is and how I go after things, and kind of like why I'm not really afraid to try different or new things. That's why I always bet on myself.
Word, word. And then just transition into those different things, right? Because all of us are about duality. That's just the human experience. You in particular, you are a musician as well, as I mentioned in the intro. You play several instruments. I know you produce, you make music yourself. Kind of speak to, I guess, early days of your initial draw to music, and then over the years, how you found a way to also chase that passion and cultivate that gift in your craft as far as music is concerned. So speak to that a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I started music when I was like 9. That was when I first picked up my first instrument, which was piano. Um, I wanted to play other instruments first, but my grandmother really wasn't having it. She was
You
old
want to play
school.
the drums? You want to play the drums? Everybody want to play the
I
drums.
wanted to play the drums. I wanted to play the drums, and she
It's the
was like,
best instrument.
"Nah."
I mean, I'm just saying.
No, she was like, "Nah." She's like, "No," because she
Too
was, you know what I'm
loud.
saying? We from Paterson. We from Paterson,
They
but she was from the South. She was like, "No, drums are for boys." I'm like,
Oh, okay.
"But I want to play." Like, and they loud.
Yeah.
We're gonna have you banging all around here. I'm just
Yeah.
like, "All right, okay, whatever. All right,
Yeah.
let me choose something else." So now I try to choose the saxophone. She was like, "No," at first, but I eventually started playing the sax.
That's funny. That's the next one to go from the drums to the sax. That's everybody.
But you know what I'm saying? We had the old little upright piano. It was all broke, but we had the little upright piano, and she used to go down there and play. She only knew like 3 songs. And then so I just kind of took a liking to it, just hearing her play them same 3 songs over and over again. So then I started playing them same 3 songs, and then all of a sudden I was playing the piano, having private lessons, and then going to school, taking it in school, and then going to high school for it, whether we doing band camps and whether we in bands and stuff like that. So I've been studying music since I've been 9, like legit studying music, like music theory and all that since 9. Basketball came around like, I don't know, 11 or so. So like I've always done music. I pretty much did music first. But basketball just afforded different opportunities, right? And basketball afforded me opportunities to play AAU. When you play AAU, you get to travel around the country. Now, if I didn't play AAU, I would have just been in Paterson, just there, So like basketball has always afforded me different opportunities, and I just went with it, right? I was going to the path of least resistance, but at the same time, I was still, honing my skills in music, and I never stopped. Even when I went to Rutgers, I still was studying music. So yeah, I just always had a love for music, and that wouldn't change no matter how many sports I decided to play. It wasn't gonna go away. And then once I got drafted, I know everyone at that point thought I would actually choose and that go one way or the other. No, I just kept it going. Why should I change anything? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I just kept honing my skills and kept pursuing it. And like it's something I've always been doing, you know, just as long as I've been doing basketball, I've been doing music, or
It's just
if not
always been
longer.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's always been there. And I knew, but at that time, it wasn't necessarily the most popular thing,
Hmm.
you know, in the world of sports.
Hmm.
You know, like when you're a
Definitely not.
musician, yeah, like and when you're a musician, like your bandmates play sports, like they
Hmm.
do other stuff. But
Hmm.
for some reason, in the world of sports, when it wasn't really accepted at that time. And if you
Hmm.
were doing both, it was like you were unfocused. You weren't focused enough on the sport.
And
But
not for
that's not.
nothing, and sorry to cut you off, but they still kind of try to do that still. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Especially, players in the NBA who want to do music on the side. They still talk about it on your first takes or your those shows like that. Oh, is he really focused on his craft? I think even in football, I can't remember the team or the player. But a young boy last year, I think he got drafted and he also was doing music and he was coming out with an album or something around the same time he was being drafted. And people would say, you know how it is when you're getting drafted, and
Yeah.
everything that they consider bad is a knock on you. You know what I'm saying? So it's I guess it's always going to be, I don't want to say taboo, but just frowned upon, mainly probably because they can't do it and they can't seem to figure out,
That's how I look at it.
I can't do it. So how you gonna be able to do it?
That's a
Like,
fact.
That's exactly how I look at it. And
That's
it's
a
to me,
fact.
it's always been that way. When people can't fathom having a capacity to do more than one thing, they try to take those feelings that they have, you know, about themselves and their capabilities or lack thereof, and then, you know, put that on you. Like that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's you. That's what you think of yourself. I'm blessed enough to have the capacity, right? And I honestly grew up around people that were doing the same thing.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
can't tell me that we as humans can't do more than one
One
thing, you
thing,
know?
right?
You know, when you in the inner city, you figure you doing a lot of things. You got a lot of different hustles, right?
And you
Because you
better.
have to, right? Because you have
You
to.
better.
It's how we survive, right?
Yeah,
Like that's how you
yeah.
survive. But then you when you become a professional and you have these people that haven't experienced certain things, certain ways of life, certain walks of life, they don't understand how, you know, you have, you know, all these different skills and why you had to acquire these different skills and why you're not letting these skills go.
Mhm.
They were imperative for our survival, you
Mhm.
know. So I mean, me being able to do both to me is like nothing,
Normal. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
when I talk to my friends from home, it's normal to them.
Mhm.
Like
You,
it's normal.
you
Like,
know
you
what's
know,
crazy? I'm sitting here listening to you talk, and they always tell you to have a plan B. But then when you have a plan B and you good at it,
exactly.
they mad at you for
They
having it.
mad.
It's
They
like
mad. They
it's
try to
like it
run your
don't
name
even
into the
make sense.
ground.
Yeah, it don't even make sense. They tell you, oh, better have a plan B just in case you don't make it. But then when you keep the plan B and you still good at it, it's like now you got to get rid of the plan B. You made it. It
Mhm.
don't make sense.
Exactly, exactly. You know, I've always been one to always want to encourage people to do what they love. Whatever your passion is, do it because you're gonna put your most effort into that, right?
Mhm.
And if it's
Yeah,
several, and if it's multiple things, then that's all
So
right.
be it. Yeah.
yeah,
So be it.
Mhm.
You just gotta make sure you're committed to it. Now, I'm not sitting
yeah.
here and saying half-ass it, right? I'm not sitting
Right.
here and
Right.
just saying like, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want and don't give the effort. You
Right.
still gotta give the effort, right? You still have
Mhm.
to treat it like it's the only thing that you're doing.
Mhm.
Right.
But like, man, no, you're not gonna sit here and tell me that I can't do more than one thing. Why? Like, why are you living in me? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, you know, as
Yeah.
long as I'm coming and I'm here showing up to work and performing and we're successful, there shouldn't be an issue. There shouldn't be an
Word.
issue at all. So, like I said, man, music has always been around. It's not going anywhere. I mean, it has always been around for me. It's not
Mhm.
going anywhere. I mean, music has shaped my life, you know,
Mhm.
whether it's the old Motown soundtracks my grandparents used to play on the record player, or whether it's like the first time I heard a hip hop record, you know, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter. It shaped my life and
Mhm.
I love it. Like without
Yeah.
music, life would be pretty boring.
Trash.
Yeah, life
Trash.
would be boring. I'm
Life would be
sorry.
trash. And I'm gonna get, because you mentioned Motown. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. I want to jump back really quick to going back to draft time, right? So you get drafted, first round draft pick, right? So anytime anybody hears first round draft pick, that's you can't get no better than that, right? And seventh overall, amazing feat. You go to the New York Liberty, which is right in the backyard, so you're still home, but you're playing in the Mecca. You're playing in, the best city to play basketball in. Talk to me about once you got drafted, or let me ask you this way. During the process, did you have a certain idea of what you thought it would be or how you thought it would be? Did you do your own research as to, okay, this is how WNBA players, like, this is how much money they make, or this is the life? Like, did you look into it like that, or were you kind of taking it all as it came to you, part one? And then once you actually were drafted, you're a rookie now, you're kind of learning the ropes. How did anything, if anything, change?
Okay. I mean, shoot, the only research I really did at that time, because it happened so fast. Honestly, it happened so fast because you think we went to you had March Madness. That's in March, and if you go all the way, you playing until like that first week of April, then the draft is right then in April, right? So we were a good team, so we were playing all throughout March, and then you blink your eyes, a week later you're getting drafted. So it wasn't that much time in between. But what I can say, I mean, I did look up, like, okay, well, how much do you make if you get drafted at this point versus if you get drafted at this point versus if you don't get drafted at all and you sign as like a free agent type of ordeal. I mean, I looked into that. I mean, who's not gonna look into the money? You'd be crazy if you don't.
Gotta check that bag. Check that bag.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, but the rest of it, I didn't really look into too much, ahead of time. I took it like as it was coming. And when I say that, I mean, like, whether it was like researching what agent to go with and stuff like that. I did do that, but it just wasn't ahead of time.
Gotcha.
I didn't have months to prepare for that. It was a very, very short window. But within that short window, I tried to do my due diligence with my research, right? So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, I was researching since the beginning of my senior year. Like, nah, that wasn't a thing. Especially on the women's side. But as I got closer, to the draft day, I definitely did a lot more research. Me thinking about, okay, well, how do WNBA players move around? Like what's the culture like? I didn't really have too much of an idea, but I did have a couple former teammates, that I played with at Rutgers that were already in the league. So I could kind of just like watch them from afar to see how they would move. And it just kind of helped that, I went to Rutgers because Coach Stringer, she had already sent a bunch of players to the league already. She already knew how to prepare us. So I didn't have to really move any differently, honestly. But I've seen other situations where people have come from some programs and it's like they get drafted and they welcome to the league. It's like they like a deer, in the headlights. They're like, oh my God, like what is going on? So I was lucky enough to not have to go through that. Because I was definitely prepared very well, whether you're talking about on the basketball side of things or just how to carry yourself as a young woman, out there, because now you have no supervision. Like, yeah, you go to college, so you don't have your parents anymore, but you still, if you're playing a sport, you still got your coaches, what I'm saying, making sure you in line and stuff like that. But then once you leave that campus, it's over. You an adult and you have to make a lot of decisions by yourself. You got to learn how to move. You got to learn how to navigate through a lot of things. And sometimes it could be scary, sometimes it could be. But again, I was prepared real well just because I chose the right school to go to. I chose the right coach to be under. And at the same time, I had a solid, support circle. Honestly, my support circle is really solid. I mean, to me, it couldn't get any better.
Dope. And then as you about to say something?
Yeah, I got a question. Who would you say like your arch nemesis was, like, coming up, that just pushed you to improve your game, maybe from the AAU circuit all the way up if they went as far, or somebody you just knew, damn, I got to bring my A game against this person?
All right, I got you. All right, so in the state of Jersey, it would have to be Mattia Ajavon. She went to Shabazz. She was, she was tough. She was definitely tough. smaller guard, but you know what I'm saying, she had the handles, you know what I'm saying, had the same type of grit, you know what I mean? So it's always different when you play against somebody with grit, right? And determination. Most of the times we take a player from Paterson, you put them up against somebody else, a lot of times they're gonna win just from pure grit. Right? It doesn't even matter if they're the most skilled person. We just don't give up. Like we gonna be up in there. Like you know what I'm saying? We have that grit, right? And so when I looked at Matt, you know, Matt had the skill and she had the grit, you know. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, all right, it's somebody else up here in North Jersey that's you know what I'm saying, got some smoke. You know what I'm saying, for lack of better words. So it's just like, all right, I seen what she did last week. All right, that's what I'm doing this week. Even you know, just watching each other from afar. But then, you know, so that's why it was really important that when it was time to go to school, it was like, yo, you wanna link up? You wanna do this together at Rutgers? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like I know you tough.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And it's like real game, recognized game. And she recognized that too. So we made the leap to go to Rutgers together. You know, I always respect Matt. She definitely knows that. You know, she's one of the best in to do it in Jersey. When I think about outside of Jersey, it was a shorty from California at the time. Her name was Sharday Houston. She was a bucket. She ended up going to UConn. She used to be a bucket in high school. I'm talking about she probably scored like 3,000 points in high school. It was like, so I knew like if we ran up against her team,
it was
gonna be a night. No,
it's on.
It's gonna be on. But it was all out of respect. Like,
sure.
It was all out of respect. And we had one of the best high school games, like AAU games that like you could watch. It was where were we? We were down, I think we were down in Georgia, down like Atlanta. Actually, like I think it was called Sawney, Georgia, or something like that. And it was a tournament.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Sawney, Georgia. Yeah. It was a tournament, and we had the last game of the night. I'm talking about late. Every college coach you could think of was there for that game. It didn't matter how late it was, and that game went overtime. The game was so crazy. That was I can honestly say that was like one of the best games I ever like played in as like a youth player. You know, just and we ended up losing in overtime. They, you know what I'm saying, they were like a nationally ranked AAU team and everything, and they had been known on the circuit for years, and she had been known on the circuit for some time too. But we came there, we stood our own, like we stood on our own 10. We held it down for Jersey. I'm telling you, like they was like, who is this team? Not even who is that girl?
Right.
Where does team come from?
Yeah.
Oh nah, like they from Paterson. From where? Where's that at? Jersey. Like, yeah,
Word.
we in here.
Yeah, girl.
Those 2
we
points.
in here.
Girl. Word.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
When was the game like more fun or pure, so to speak? Because you mentioned a lot of levels like AAU, high school, college, pros, summer league, whatever part, even if it was just playing in the shooting, you know, sharpening your game up dolly with the ball, you know what I mean, walking to the court, something. Like, when was the game like just at its purest form for you? At what level?
Probably at Eastside High. Like we won.
You did
like,
it for
we
Joe
won.
Clark, huh?
Put the chains on the doors. Put the chains on the doors.
They said, we don't want a good principal. We want Mr. Clark.
Nah, seriously, though. The reason why I say Eastside is just because, like, man, when I first got there, nobody really believed in us because, like, they hadn't been winning. Kennedy had been winning, right? Because the Kennedy had Nicole Loudon. And if it wasn't Kennedy, it was Paterson Catholic at that time that also had been winning championships. And Eastside hadn't been like winning things, you know what I'm saying? So when I decided to go there, like to play basketball there and not play for any other school, they was like, wait, what? Why? I'm like, no, like my daddy went to this school, like my grandparents went to school.
I kind of gotta do this.
And I'm from the east side.
Right, we from this
my
side.
zip code say I gotta go here.
We from this side,
yeah, we really from here. Like, but like, so like being able to go into you know what I'm saying, that program, and like my teammates, to come together with my teammates, and we really work together and build it up ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Just on off of our own backs. You know what I'm saying? Us, and then our coaching staff that believed in us. That's it. Like nobody else believed in us, right? Until it was like, it was way later, junior, senior year,
Right.
but we had already been winning at that point,
It's
right?
bandwagon time now. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, to me, it was fun because we literally were just having fun. Like, that's it. We was pushing each other. Like, we was just trying to be better. Like, we didn't care about anybody else around us. We was going in that gym, like, just having fun with one another. It didn't matter what happened in school all day. It don't matter if you had a bad day in school, you come to the gym, you was about to have fun. I was gonna have jokes. We was gonna play basketball. You know what I'm saying? It was it just
It was
felt
pure.
good.
Yeah.
It was just pure. There was no business, no politics involved, because all that stuff is real. It happens at the college level too, right? It happens at the collegiate level. It doesn't only happen in the pros. There's politics everywhere. But in those moments at Eastside, we didn't have to, you know, go through those politics. We really won together, and I appreciated that, and just the way we treated each other. You know what I'm saying? Like all we wanted to do was win. That's all we cared about. We wanted to get those jackets. That's it. That's all we wanted. We just wanted to get the jacket. Yo, it's crazy because we didn't even care about
leather
the banner.
sleeves.
Yeah, we didn't even care about the banner in the gym.
I'm a Kennedy Knight, so I used to hate them jackets.
I wanted to, I had to have a jacket.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it was all about getting a jacket. And as soon as you got a jacket, yo, you already
locked in.
You walk around the city, you already know what it is.
You
like,
locked in.
East side, baby, flip the collar. It said county champs on the collar. Like, you already know what it is. Like, that's all we wanted. It was so pure.
So watching, so you was watching it in real time. You said y'all wasn't like a winning school. So when you got there, it was all you changed the whole morale of the school. So that was probably even more doper than, and then plus with the act like winning and that got to be fire.
They was showing us so much
It was
love.
a special time. That was a special time.
They was showing us so much love. It didn't matter whether, you know what I'm saying, you was playing the whole game or whether you was the last person on the bench. They was showing the whole team love. Like, yo, that's the Lady Ghost. Like, we our fans, we was getting fans for real. We was getting fans. And you know, like, they wasn't really going to girls' games back then. Like,
right.
People wasn't really on that. But then they started coming to our games, and like it got lit. It was just like, oh shoot, we built this ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody believed in us, only us. And then you turn around, you look at it, and all of a sudden we dominating, you know what I'm saying, in the state, you know, not just in Passaic County, you know what I'm saying? Not just between, you know, Eastside and Kennedy or Passaic or anything. Like, nah. Now we taking over the state at this point. And
leave something in the sky. We're gonna leave something in the sky, guys.
Exactly. I'm telling you. And to me, that was my best time. Like, that was the most fun in basketball. I won championships and stuff after that. But like, to build it the way we built it, like brick by brick in high school, no, that was something different. That was something different. And it kind of set precedent, like, of how I always like approach joining new teams. Like, I don't really care, like, if they've won already or if they haven't. It doesn't matter, because I know that you can really take something and build it the way you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to move into a readily built home, right? You can buy the plot and you can build the house how you want, right? And then when you build it the way you want, don't you like it better that way anyway?
Way better.
Right?
Word.
Exactly. So I'm not afraid to go into situations like that. But I got that just from, you know what I'm saying, playing at Eastside. It changed. I'm telling you, it molded the way I think about, like, approaching teams.
Word. And then, so you mentioned briefly, you know, you won championships later on in life. So you won it at the high school level, and now going all the way up to the professional level. You go out to LA, right? Or was it?
Yep.
It was LA, right?
Yep.
You go out to LA. That's Candace Parker.
Yep.
Candace Parker. And you actually do it. Y'all actually win the championship.
Chippy, take the chip.
What
you hear that, Gert? Paterson. Yeah, we winners too, nigga.
No doubt. Respect.
What did that feel like? Like, what did that feel like for you?
No, it felt crazy, right? So if you do like a Google search or whatever, one of the pictures from that game that come up, it'll be me. It sounds crazy. So pause because the way it's about to come out is gonna sound crazy.
Yeah.
It was me. I fell
I
to.
never
I was
heard
like,
the pre-pause.
You
Sometimes you got pre-pause.
It's the pre-pause because in the picture, like I'm on my knees. So this is where the pause came in.
Yeah.
The picture, I'm on my knees, but I fell to my knees because I couldn't believe that this is the stuff that you dream of when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. At first when I was a kid, I wanted to be one of the first girls to play on TV to put the ball between her legs. Crazy. It was like that's so easy. Like, but I thought it was a big thing when I was a little kid. Now then it's like, oh, I just want to play on TV. Then it's like, oh, I want to, win in college. And then it's like, no, I want to like win a championship like Michael Jordan. And then like it happens in the way that it did happen, like last second, and it was an away game in front of all their fans, and they had already established a winning culture and stuff like that. And it was like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, it was crazy. Like my legs just gave out. Like as soon as the clock hit 0, I'm at half court and I just fall. I'm like, I had never felt like that before. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, but it's like, you can't even say like, oh, I just felt happy. I don't know what word it is to describe it, but it's like, it just take over your body. Like, it's almost like you're not there anymore. And I literally just fell to the ground. Like, it was like all the hard work that you put into it finally paid off. Like all those days, nights in the gym, or even not even in the gym, because I feel like in Paterson, like growing up, we ain't really play inside the gym unless you went to the Y. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't play inside. Everything is
you outside. Yeah.
In the wintertime, I remember in the wintertime, I'll be outside playing basketball in the snow with gloves on, like with a crate. With a crate on the pole. Like it's different. So then when you think about it, it's like, yo, I really went through all of that just to get to this one little moment. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have the luxury of having basketball trainers when I was a kid. None of that. I'm not saying it didn't exist, but that's just not how we were moving in Paterson. Like you just learned how to play. Like you go outside. I was at school 13 all the time playing basketball outside with somebody that just came from the corner. Like it doesn't matter. I was just wanting to play. That's how I got my training in. So to think that I went from that all the way to a national stage and then like to a game that's on not even just only ESPN, but it's on ABC. You know, when you go on ABC, them single digit channels, you like, I really made it. I really made it. Because everybody get them channels. Even if you don't got cable, you get those channels. Everybody watch it. And it's like, yo, like we really did it. And like who else? I'm like, dang, like Paterson really here. If I say anybody from Paterson make some noise in this arena, I'm gonna be the only person. It's just like, yo.
But we
did you have any thought to the national championship during that game? Like, did that cross your mind at all? Or
I was like, it's a lot of people in here. That's what I remember because it was in Cleveland. I was like, dang, there's a lot of people in here. The arena not this big back at Rutgers. It ain't this big. Like, dang, like all these people trying to come see us play.
That energy is crazy.
It's a whole different energy. Like, and it's like it could be quiet in there, but the fact that it's that many bodies in one place, you can feel it. You just feel it. Like it could be silent, and you feel like you were saying, like you just feel the energy. So like in the national championship game, I just wanted to win. Honestly, I'm just like, yo, what we got to do to win? 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 But in the world championship game in the league, it's a little different because it's like I remember that experience. Well, what can I change to make sure that I get a different outcome this time? And it's just like, yo, just make sure everybody stay on the same page. Everybody stay calm. You stay calm. You know what I'm saying? This moment, you were meant for this moment. That's why it came back around. You know, you might not have gotten it the first time, but it came back around because this moment is for you. You know, you just got to handle it the right way this time. And it did. And I fell out. Fell out, man. It was crazy. You can't relate, like you can't duplicate that feeling. Like it's like a one-time thing. Even if you win another championship, it doesn't feel the same.
That first one is the best.
For sure.
So then, right? So now I know a lot of, and you can kind of educate me and us on this part of it. I know a lot of WNBA players play overseas in the off season. mainly because that's typically where you make your most money, right? And so speak to that, right? Because now I'm in a whole nother country, you don't speak the language. That's that's all kind of barriers. You know what I'm saying? Like how did you navigate through that? Or what was it like? Because I know how, but what was it like?
All right, so the first time I went over there, I think I transitioned a lot easier than a lot of other people just because I think music actually helped, right? Because no matter, like when I travel with equipment. Like that's just, especially if I know I'm gonna be somewhere for an extended period of time. If I'm gonna be somewhere for more than like 2-3 weeks, I'm gonna bring some equipment with me because that's just how it is. So my first year I went overseas, I brought equipment with me, brought keyboards, computers, speakers, all that. Like now I'm making some music. I'm gonna kill some time. So the time where people would want to go out, you know what I'm saying, and explore the city, like, but would have a hard time because they didn't speak the language, they didn't know how to get around, right? I was in the crib, like making music. Yeah, like so that helped me pass the time, right? That helped me pass the time. But of course, I still had situations where I had to figure out how to live within the culture that isn't nowhere like mine. Whether it's the food you eat, the language you speak, just even the things you do, like the things that other cultures do in their leisure time. You know what I'm saying? Those aren't necessary things that you'll necessarily be like familiar with. And it could be tough. But at the same time, I did have an appreciation just for people in general. And I understand that just because someone doesn't look like me doesn't necessarily mean that one, they're bad. Right. Or, so like I felt the need to at least learn. I didn't want to be in these countries and relish like the opportunity to learn about these other cultures, and treat them with respect. Because at the end of the day, as a Black person in America, that's what we want. We want, you know what I'm saying? We want to be treated with respect and people to respect our culture. We don't move like y'all, you know what I'm saying? But respect the way we do move. Respect me as a whole human being, as a whole person, and so I always had that mindset when I went into these other countries. That helped me navigate a little bit, but like the food portion, I was just like, I gotta learn how to cook. Like I need to learn how to cook real quickly, and I gotta learn how to use these seasonings because they don't have Lowry's, they don't have seasoned salt, they don't have none of that.
They ain't even have no adobo,
no Goya. There's no Goya. There's none of that. Like you better get some.
They got bouillons.
They be heavy on the bouillons for sure. For sure. Once I found those overseas, because first of all, I had to figure out what was the translation. So I was like, I didn't even know where to find them first of all. But once I found that, now we cooking with grease. No, yeah, because at least that got some seasoning in it. Yeah. Everything else, like it was tough. And then some people really get homesick to the point where they can't even perform like at the highest level because they miss home that much. They become depressed. It's a real thing. Especially imagine like just being in a country where there are no Black people. At all.
Where were you, if you mind me asking? Where were you?
All right, so I played in one city. I was in Hungary. I'm not saying there's no Black people in Hungary at all, but however, in the city I was playing at the time, the only other people of color there that I seen was me and my teammate. So
teammate. Yeah, first off, the name of the place. Once we hear that, we ain't going there. Hungry. I'm starving.
They said you could be hungry right here. Why you gonna go over there to be hungry?
Yes, I was in a small town called Győr. And I remember when I first got there, like, you know what I'm saying, anytime I walked outside, they'd just be staring at you. Like literally staring, like they had almost like they had never seen, a Black person before. And that could be uncomfortable, but I had to remind myself that they're not familiar.
I'm in Hungary
with Black people. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they only seen a Black person on TV. That's the only
probably.
Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe. You know what I mean? And so like they would just be staring. And like I remember one time I was in another country. I was there, and it was a whole bunch of kids, yo. There was a whole bunch of kids. They ran up to me. They was like, Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson. I'm like, bruh, what?
You said which one, the black one or the white one? Which one they calling me?
At Jackson 5.
That's
Like, I'm so
crazy.
serious.
That's
Like,
crazy.
you got to realize some of these people have not come in contact with black people before.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And it's an eye opener, right? Like, I mean, to say the
Yeah.
least. Yeah.
And it's like, you might get different reactions. You might get a reaction like people are just intrigued, right? And I mean, they just want to look at you. You like exotic to them. And then there's other instances where they like, ew, no, don't touch me. Yeah, get away from me. Like, what are you doing here? You know? So you get both of those experiences. But as time has gone on, they've become more familiar, especially as more athletes come in and out of the country, in and out of the city, that they become a little bit more familiar with black people. So the experience is a little different. But I don't want to sit here and say that those are the organizations that treat you like that. It's not. The organizations try to make you feel at home.
It's
but
the people.
It's more so just
the natives,
the regular people there. And it is what it is. That's what we signed up for, and it can be tough. I mean, I don't go over there anymore to play. If I do, it'll just be for some leisure time. But no, I removed myself from that pool some years ago.
You did it. You did
any of your teammates stay, or anybody like get so used to it they just like?
I see some people start some families over there.
Wow.
Yeah, it starts some families, and for some people it work out better for them, right? Some people, because it gives them a different opportunity. Because who knows what their situation looks like here in the States, especially when you think as a black person, that doesn't necessarily. I'm saying your situation could be worse off. You don't know. So some people do start families over there, and then you got to think if the person is over there, the player's over there for at least 8 months or so. You know what I'm saying? That's majority of the year you spend it over there. Right? So that's home at that point. That's home. So you're gonna start your family over there versus starting in America where you only here for like 3-4 months. I mean, I'm good. I'm cool over here.
I could dig it. So look, back jumping back to the music, right? Because I know, and I don't know the particulars, but I've just kind of seen from afar. I know you had or have situations with Motown Records, Capitol Records. So I know you also have the executive title attached to your brand. So speak a little bit about some of those opportunities, how you landed some of those opportunities, and what it looks like for you today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, getting my start in the music industry, like on the corporate side of things, I mean, I didn't necessarily envision it and the way for it to happen.
How it
the way
played
it
out.
did. Yeah, right. So I got my start just by being an intern, right? Yeah, I was a professional athlete, but I was like, yo, I might as well give it a shot. Like, why not? What is it all about? You know what I'm saying? Be humble. Let's see what it's about. I had sustained an injury that kept me here in the States after one of the WNBA seasons. So I had to have surgery. And then so I had to be, here for physical therapy. So I'm just like, well, if I have to be here anyway, I might as well find something to kill my time or learn something. So then that's when I was like, oh, let me try to do an internship, and then, looked at the different opportunities. And then one with Capitol Music Group, popped up, and it was for one of their distribution companies for Caroline and Priority Distribution. So I took it, see what it's about. I got my foot in the door, and it was a lot. It was a lot to learn at a very, very fast pace. But I was appreciative of it because it showed you a whole different side of music. I'm so used to, at that point, I was so used to being a creative on the music side, right?
Yeah, you were the talent, you were on the talent side,
Yeah, right. We learning music, we going music theory, we playing the different band competitions, all different types of stuff. That's how I looked at music. But it gave me a whole different perspective and learn to learn the business side of things. Learn how it's run. How are these people able to remain so successful after so many years? And I thought it was a cool opportunity. So I was an intern for about like 3 months. And then after that 3 months was up, they wanted to keep me around pretty much. And interviewed, got a full-time job there, and I've been sticking it out since then. And it's been some years now. This is going on year 5. Yeah,
Nice.
so it's been some time.
Fire.
And I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the opportunity. And it's allowed me to learn so much, right? It has given me so much knowledge. And when you pair that with being a creative, right, it gives you a whole different perspective. Because normally what you're gonna get is either you're gonna get the creative, or you're gonna get the person on the business side, on the corporate side. You don't normally get both of those together. But I think it's important for those people to exist, like the people that have an understanding of both sides, because I think that it'll actually push music in the right direction. Anytime it's out of balance, when it's too much of one side, I'm sure you can feel it. You can hear it in the music, right? You can hear it on the airwaves. Like, okay, this is a little too much of this side, and you know what I'm saying.
Especially
So,
if you're paying attention and you're in tune like that, you know what I'm saying? Because that does take a certain type of ear as well, a certain type of keenness to be able to recognize those things. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And I think it's important, for people to learn the business. I hate for creators to be shut out, what I'm saying, and not have the knowledge, not be equipped with the knowledge that they should have to make themselves successful. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of stuff that creatives just don't know, and they don't even know to ask, right? But it's not like people just don't volunteer the information. You know what I'm saying? You got to have some real solid people in there that's willing to volunteer the information to you. You feel me? And it's not telling any secret, because it's not a secret, because everything that you want to know, you literally could just go look it up right now.
Right.
But it's just that you don't know what you don't know.
And you don't know what to look up, right? Yeah, you don't know what to ask, you don't know what to look up. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm like, I feel like I really appreciated the opportunity that that I had in the beginning, just because it gave me the opportunity to gain a lot of that knowledge and to be able to reach back and help someone else out. You know what I'm saying? Helping someone out doesn't necessarily mean signing them to a deal.
right.
Like, no, is equipping you with the knowledge so you be able to feed yourself, right? Teach a man. You either gonna give the man to fish, or you're gonna teach him how to fish, whichever one. You know what I'm saying? I would rather teach the man how to fish, so then that he can eat, he can feed his family and all that stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But some people just want the fish. I can't blame you. You know what I'm saying? But I think it needs to be more people that are willing to teach. You know what I'm saying? To teach these people the business, because it's so much talent, but they lack like the understanding of what's going on. And a lot of times they find themselves caught up in the middle of situations. And
more times than not.
Yeah, they get caught up in a situation. It's just like, man, they screwed me over, but they don't really know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? They just kind of going off of what somebody else is telling them, instead of really learning how it should work. You know what I'm saying? And then moving from there. I just want to make sure, you know what I'm saying? I always want people to be successful around me. You know what I'm saying? I'm that person, because when you put that out into the universe, then more success comes back to you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? What is me, you know what I'm saying, wishing y'all fail, what is that gonna do for me?
Right.
Like, what is that gonna do for me? Nah. I always put out, you know what I'm saying, the good energy with good intentions and stuff like that, because that's how you multiply and have it really come back to you. So, you know what I'm saying, the opportunity, like you said, at Motown, because then after I left the distribution company, I went over to Motown, and it's been great, because it's like almost like, I don't want to say full circle, because I don't think my journey's done yet, but like, starting out hearing music from my grandparents, playing on the record players, Motown, and you fast forward, I work at Motown now, and it's just like, okay, then I'm on the right track, right? I don't know what the next step is, but whatever, I do know that I am on the right track, right? So again, I mean, I love it. Still growing, still learning a lot of things, but I've also acquired a lot of knowledge at this point, and it feels good, man. Everything feels good, man, whether it's the business side of things, whether it's the music side of things. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that I've done in basketball and will continue to do. I mean, I've been blessed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you saying it feels good. It's great to hear that it feels good, because I'm gonna tell you right now, it looks good. It looked damn good.
I appreciate it. I'm still working on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? We still trying to take it to the next level. We understand that it's baby steps, but at the same time, as long as we still moving in that direction, and that direction is forward, it's good. We good money.
Word. Word. I don't really have too much else other than really quick, just a kind of a rapid fire music question. Um, do you have a favorite artist, or do you have a particular genre that you pull from versus the other? Because I understand that you're a well-rounded, music connoisseur and musician. So do you have a favorite artist or favorite artist? Like, name some of your inspirations musically.
Uh, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
So we got Whitney Houston for sure. You got Quincy Jones. He's just his mind musically is crazy. It's just crazy. So those two for sure. Of course, you got like a Missy, just like her production prowess and her ability to like her songwriting and just creativity overall, videos and all that's crazy.
Yeah.
Lauryn Hill for sure, Jersey in the building. Whitney's from Jersey too. Shoot, rappers. One of the hardest rappers from back in the day on the woman's side was definitely MC Light because her flow was crazy back in the day,
Yeah.
right?
Talk to
Her
him.
flow was
Light as a
was
rock,
crazy.
baby. Light as a
You
rock.
already know. You already know. I don't want to miss anybody, but MC Light, Jay, of course. Love Jay, love Biggie for sure. Those two right there. I appreciate I like Pac just for his energy and his like his passion behind it. But when you're talking about like, skill and flow wise and being and cadence and being able to flow in and out of a beat, out of a pocket, that to me that's big for sure. That's big for sure. Jay, of course, like I said. Shoot, we can go on. I used to like 90s Mariah Carey for sure. 90s Mariah, I gotta be real
Man, said
specific.
90s only, huh?
I'm gonna lie, but Emancipate
Said
from
once that
Me.
eye color start changing, you like, man, I don't really rock with that Mariah right there. I don't know about that one. Once ODB passed on, I don't think I can fuck with Mariah.
No, yo, it's so many people because like that 90s, early 2000s, like hip hop, bro. Oh, had my heart on lock,
Timeless.
man.
Different.
Crazy. Had my heart
you,
on lock.
you
So
talking Gert
anybody that
language
grew
now.
like that time
Don't
period
get him
right there is
started.
crazy. Nah, like that time period it was
Yeah.
crazy. So I mean, I know there's a lot of people I left out, but
Yeah,
just off the top.
Now you
like,
cooking. Don't
yeah,
even
for
worry
sure.
about it.
Yeah.
You cooking.
Yeah.
Nah, but like I have so much appreciation for a lot of great producers. Man, I really do. And like female like MCs, you know what I'm saying? Like
Word.
they didn't get like a ton of love back in the day, but there were some ones that were hard, and
Yeah.
like they were hard, and they definitely shaped the way like how I write music or how I approach music. Like I remember I've been saying I wanted to be Quincy Jones since I've been like a kid.
Yeah.
He does, and he has done everything. You talking about movie scores,
everything.
soundtracks,
We can't even. He's by himself.
TV shows.
Yeah.
He did pop music. He did hip hop music.
Yeah.
I don't even think he liked hip hop music. He did hip hop music, R&B. Like he's done everything you could think of. He had his own like big band, like orchestra and everything. Like, bro, he's a real maestro. And I coming from the music side of things, I really truly appreciate that because especially when you're looking at the landscape of music now, he's a gem. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's definitely a gem. You know what I mean? So because a lot of people like him don't come around too often.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, I mean, I started this out by, saying and mentioning that you were a legend. And, I know that you're humble, but you absolutely are a legend. I mean, you got your own day in the city. You got murals.
Yes, sir. Murals all over.
You got murals painted. Like, that's fire. Like, and that's inspiring for me and a lot of people like myself that come from the city and aspire to do bigger and better things. Like, it's dope to see it when you know somebody who got it from the mud, but who's continuing to do it and doing it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're making a good name for yourself first and foremost. You're representing yourself well, but you're also representing where you come from well. So, definitely want to give you your flowers and, just salute you on that and much continued success for the future. I'm sure you're gonna, keep doing what you've been doing on a high level.
Man, I definitely appreciate y'all. I mean, when you come from a place like Paterson, I mean, shoot, to me, it's like if you can, figure out how to move through all of that, navigate through all of that, you're gonna be successful in life. The only thing is you just gotta see that you can create your own opportunity, because nobody gives us opportunity there, right? No one does. So as long as you have a hint of like the idea that, yo, I can create my own opportunity, I'm telling you, once you make it out those, like once you leave them city limits, I'm telling you, it's like that. But the thing is, there's nobody really telling people that. Like, it's just like you make it out and then it's crickets. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, I would love to do like a ton more. That's why I'm still busting my ass trying to, you know what I'm saying, become even bigger, just so I can shed even more light on our city, because there's so much talent there. There's so much talent, right? Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It don't have to be music. It don't have to be basketball. But there's so much talent there, and I think that a lot of people there deserve a chance. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm always reach back and try to pull the next one up, if I can. As long as I got arms and I got these 10 fingers, you feel me? I'm using them to grab a hold of somebody and try to pull them up with me.
Word.
But I appreciate you guys, man.
Yo, 17th.
You already know.
Yo, I got a story, right? Check it. We're going to go see a game at Prudential Center. My homies from 17th Ave. They're like, yo, F, we out. Yo, S's Carson about to threat. I'm like, all right, y'all taking mad long trying to gallop the troops. You know what I'm saying? We about to miss the game. So we get into the game. They're like, yo, where we sitting at? He says, don't worry about it, man. Whole 17. Anything that say 17 on it is us.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like 17, 17th Ave. I'm like, all right, y'all taking this shit all the way to the okay, fuck it, 17 then.
No, that's why I wore the number 17.
Yeah.
That's why I wore
which is super fire. Yeah.
Yeah, I take them everywhere I go. In my mind. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care if anybody else understand that, but I know, they know, you know what I'm saying?
Word.
So
I don't want to put you on the spot either, but I'm kind of putting you on the spot, right? That's what everybody does when they say they don't want to do something. They put you on the spot.
Go ahead and do it, man.
I gotta find one of them jerseys, but the I don't know if you can, because I remember I hit you up and you said you didn't know, how or where, but those special edition joints, like the Breonna Taylor joints and like that whole movement. Do they still make them, or like, because I want one of those.
I don't really think so, because I think when they put Breonna's name on our jersey, that was just like for the bubble at that time. I don't think that was in mass production, because I think that's a whole like whole
it's a
legal
lot.
thing.
You got it tucked, Jersey. You got it tucked. That's a I got it tucked combo right there. They ain't making for everybody. Yeah. But I don't think they mass produced though. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? You go selling it, then that's that money involved. So I don't think they went into mass production with those.
Yeah, that makes sense though. That makes sense.
It would have been dope though. And maybe the proceeds could have went to the family. I don't know. But that would have been my little idea.
Yeah, word. All right, well, fellas, y'all got anything else before we wrap up?
Last joint. Who you are watching today? Like who, you try not to misplay that really excite you.
Dang.
Or maybe a looking person coming up, or just anybody.
It's a lot of young girls coming up right now. I'm always support the home team, so I'm always support Rutgers. But at the same time, South Carolina always they be coming with it. So with Dawn Staley and her whole program, I like those shorties right there. I like the way they play. You know what I'm saying? And I like what Dawn's doing with them as a coach. You feel me? And their presence when they get to the league. I like how they come into the league. It reminds me of how, Coach Stringer used to send her players to the league. So I like watching them. Baylor got a kid that's solid too. the post player. She's solid. But I think I like watching South Carolina the most. I think so. They exciting. They exciting. And of course, I got to go with the black coach. That's just how it go.
Yeah.
That's just how it go around here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, again, we definitely appreciate you for stopping by, showing us love. Actually, you are officially our first guest. So, thank you for
good.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I'm a
We
guest every week.
appreciate you.
Goddamn. I'm damn near good. I'm a guest every week.
Nigga will say, "What am I?"
I'm like, bro, man, from the third floor, what, the fifth floor? Fifth floor?
Word. So definitely, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming. We always sign out by, reminding everybody out there to tell a friend to tell a friend. And of course, remember, until next time, everything Rico.